Hey, Dr. McCann here. In this video, we're going to go over the hormonal changes that occur during aging and menopause, both surgical and natural, and why and how these hormonal changes make it harder to get the weight off and keep it off. You may have started dieting, have done the same exercise that you always do, and you notice that the fat just keeps accumulating around the midsection. It's harder to get off, or nearly impossible to get off, and you have no idea why. So we're going to go over some of the factors with aging and menopause that affect your weight and how you can counteract these to help the weight come off. So first of all, what even is menopause? So the average age of menopause in the United States is 52 years old, and it occurs from permanent cessation of menses, or your period stopping, secondary to loss of ovarian function, and you're through menopause when you haven't had a period in a year. So that's natural menopause. You can also have surgical menopause that occurs when you have your ovaries removed. Both natural and surgical menopause cause hormonal changes. It decreases your estrogen level, of course, because the estrogen is made in the ovary. It also decreases your progesterone level and your androgen level, like testosterone. And so all of these levels and all of these hormones affect your weight. So studies show that decreasing estrogen, as found in either the surgical or natural menopause, increases your abdominal fat, increases your visceral fat or fat around your organs, and decreases your lean body mass. And this is regardless of age. So whether you go through surgical menopause at the age of 35 or natural menopause at the age of 52, both of these, with the decreased estrogen, is going to do the things I mentioned as far as increase the abdominal fat, increase fat around the organs or visceral fat, and decrease the lean body mass. Not only is estrogen and progesterone decreased, but there are some other hormones that affect these changes as you get older, that these hormones decrease. So growth hormone is a huge one. Growth hormone stimulates fat breakdown, and it helps build muscle. It decreases with age, and midlife levels are only 15% of the levels that you find during puberty. So all of these hormone changes together, which include a decrease in estrogen, a decrease in testosterone, a decrease in growth hormone, and a decreased DHEA, all lead to decreases in your lean body mass, which is basically your muscle, and this leads to a decreased metabolism or decreased metabolic rate. This is further exacerbated by the dietary changes that you might make to lose weight. So if you're doing caloric restriction, or if you're doing intermittent fasting and you're not taking in enough protein, this will further decrease your lean body mass, which decreases your metabolism, which may make the weight harder to get off and harder to keep off. So we have to offset these hormonal changes by keeping or increasing your metabolism. And this means keeping and even increasing your basal metabolic rate. So what is this basal metabolic rate? This is the amount of calories that your body uses on a daily basis, even if you were to sit around and do nothing. It's the amount of calories that you use to breathe, to digest food, just to live. And the basal metabolic rate has several formulas. As you can see, one of the main formulas takes into account the lean body mass. So by increasing the lean body mass, you can increase your metabolism. So the more muscle that you have, the more calories that you're gonna burn just by sitting around and doing nothing. And it's not recommended to sit around and do nothing. Obviously you need to exercise, but it's important to take in enough protein to keep that lean body mass. You increase your basal metabolic rate by number 1, taking in enough protein, and number 2, exercise. Generally, women need around 100 grams of protein a day to keep the muscle that they have. And not just any protein will do. This needs to be lean protein. So a lot of times protein is naturally connected to fat. If you think of steak, red meat, there's a lot of protein, there's also a lot of fat. So if you happen to take in too much fat, you're probably going to gain weight. So you need to go ahead and find those protein choices that are the lean choices. So you can get your exact amount that you need if you go to a clinic, or even there's scales that you can get at home to measure your body composition, and this will tell you how much lean body mass that you have. And you need 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass to keep the muscle that you have. So again, an average is about 100 grams of protein a day, and in women, 35 to 40 grams of fat a day. Common mistakes that women make when they're trying to lose weight is fasting and even intermittent fasting. So if you actually look at the studies, intermittent fasting, yes, you can lose weight. The average is about 15 pounds, but most of them have also shown that you lose muscle. So you lose lean body mass because you're not getting in enough protein to keep your muscle. So when you lose lean body mass or muscle, again, it makes it harder to keep the weight off because you're decreasing your metabolism. Another common mistake is getting too much fat with your protein. So we'll recap from a previous video that I did about the fat content in the protein. So tip number 2 is watch your fat. So yes, I just said that you need to get in a lot of protein to keep your muscle. However, this needs to be lean protein. Unless you're doing ketosis diet, and unless you're in ketosis, you need to watch the amount of fat that you get in your diet. So if you're in ketosis, you can take in as much fat as you want because you're using that to burn energy. If you're not in ketosis and you're just doing carb moderation, that is not the case. If you take in too much fat, you will gain weight. So you need to pick the protein choices that have the least amount of fat. For women, generally, to lose weight, your daily fat intake should be around 35 grams. If you're trying to just maintain, you can bump it up to 40, and if you start to gain weight, you're gonna need to bring it back down. Men, generally 55 to 60 grams of fat a day will help to keep the weight off. And to get your exact measurements, you can see a doctor, nutritionist, dietitian can tell you, measure your body composition and tell you the exact amount of macros that you need. But again, the lean protein is key. So some tips on some protein, there's some protein choices that you might think are good that actually you might gain weight with because they have a lot of fat. So starting out with these choices, the Atkins supplements are going to have a lot of fat in them. They will have a lot of protein, but they'll have a lot of fat. And unless you're in ketosis, you will gain weight with these supplements. Peanut butter, whole eggs, a lot of cheese, and even nuts. All of these foods are gonna have a lot of fat for the protein content. So if you're trying to get in 100 grams of protein a day, you don't need foods that have a 1-to-1 ratio protein to fat. So all of the foods that I just mentioned have a high fat content for the amount of protein that you're gonna get and the amount of protein that you actually need. Instead, some healthy alternatives that have a lot of protein and not as much fat, you can try beef jerky, which is very low fat with high protein. Fish like salmon is a great option. It's packed full of omega. It has a lot of protein. So fish is a great option. protein shake supplements, especially with a whey protein, is a great way to get in all your protein while not going over on your fat. And Greek yogurt is like a magic food. It's packed with protein, and you can get fat-free versions, so that is also a great alternative. And secondly, exercise. So exercise helps build muscle. So while some weights and resistance training is useful, cardio is also needed to get that fat burning and to get that adipose tissue off. Cardio will help burn the glucose that is stored in the muscles, and then you can turn to the fat for your energy after that. So both resistance training and cardio is important to help get the fat off and to help keep your muscle. So to recap, when you go through menopause, either surgical or natural, you will most likely notice an increase in your abdominal fat, and you'll notice that it's harder to get the weight off, and so you'll have to try a little bit harder. And again, we offset these hormonal changes by keeping your metabolism, or increasing your metabolism by increasing your lean body mass, by number one, getting in enough protein to keep your muscle, and number two, exercise.